Distress from the stars. The vast emptiness of space carried many secrets, but few as urgent as the signal that reached Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Station on that fateful morning. Commander Elena Reeves sat bolt upright in her chair as the translation matrix decoded the message, her eyes scanning the words that materialized on the screen before her. This is an emergency broadcast from the Solarian Collective. Our worlds are under attack by Karax forces. We cannot withstand their assault. Our defense systems are failing. Any species capable of rendering aid, we beg for your intervention. We offer knowledge and resources in exchange. Please help us before we are extinguished. Elena's face hardened as she studied the coordinates. The Solaris system was 30 light-years from Earth, within range of their newest jump drives, but far enough to be a serious commitment. Lieutenant Chen, verify the authenticity of this signal, she ordered, her voice steady despite the gravity of what they were witnessing. Already confirmed, Commander. Signal characteristics match no known human transmission patterns. This is definitely alien in origin. Elena stood and straightened her midnight blue uniform, the silver insignia of the United Solar Defense Force gleaming under the control room lights. At 42, she had risen through the ranks based on strategic brilliance and unwavering resolve. Her dark hair, streaked with premature gray, was pulled back in a tight bun, revealing sharp features and penetrating eyes that had seen humanity's expansion through the solar system and beyond. Alert Admiral Matsuda and the Interstellar Council. We need an emergency session. 6 hours later, Elena stood before the 12 members of Earth's Interstellar Council, a diverse group representing the unified nations of humanity. The chamber was silent as the final notes of the distress call echoed through the room. "This is unprecedented," said Councillor O'Keefe, his deep voice breaking the silence. First contact initiated through a plea for military intervention. The implications are staggering. "We have no obligation to involve ourselves in an alien conflict," countered Councillor Reynolds, adjusting her glasses nervously. "We know nothing about either species. For all we know, this could be a trap." Admiral Matsuda, a veteran of the Mars uprising with steel in his eyes and wisdom in his weathered face, turned to Elena. "Commander Reeves, you've reviewed the technical data. What's your assessment?" Elena stepped forward, activating the holographic display. The signal contains embedded technical specifications that suggest the Solarians are highly advanced in certain areas, particularly quantum computing and energy manipulation. However, the message also indicates they evolved on a low-gravity world with minimal environmental pressures. "Meaning?" prompted Councillor Zhang. "Meaning they're likely physically fragile compared to humans. We evolved on what galactic standards would classify as a death world, high gravity, variable climate, significant radiation, diverse predators, and countless pathogens. Our bodies are adapted to survive conditions that would crush most species." Admiral Matsuda nodded. "Commander Reeves is suggesting that despite their technological advancement, these Solarians may lack the physical resilience to defend themselves effectively. And this makes it our problem. How?" Reynolds asked. Elena took a deep breath. Humanity has always defined itself by how we respond to calls for help. Throughout our history, even when tribes were separated by oceans, we understood a fundamental truth. Today's rescuer might be tomorrow's rescued. If intelligent life is being systematically destroyed, we have both an ethical and strategic interest in response. The debate continued for hours, weighing the risks of intervention against the dangers of allowing aggressive species to expand unchecked. Eventually, Admiral Matsuda called for a vote. The Council authorizes a reconnaissance and potential rescue mission to the Solaris system, he announced as the final tally showed 8 votes in favor. "Commander Reeves, you will lead this operation." 3 days later, Elena stood on the bridge of the USDF Valiant, the most advanced warship in Earth's fleet. The cylindrical vessel, nearly a kilometer long with its fusion drives and jump coils, represented the pinnacle of human military engineering. "Jump calculations complete, Commander," reported Navigation Officer Raj Singh. The fleet is in formation. Behind the Valiant, 5 additional ships, a mix of heavy cruisers and fast attack vessels, prepared for the jump to Solarian space. Alina had personally selected the 1,500 crew and Marines for this mission, choosing those with experience in exoplanetary operations and first contact scenarios. All systems green. Confirmed First Officer Diana Rodriguez, her experienced eyes scanning the readouts. Medical and xenobiology teams standing by. Elena looked around at her crew, the best Earth had to offer. Some, like combat specialist Jackson, had been augmented with the latest bionic enhancements. Others, like communications officer Luka Novick, were naturally adapted to space conditions after generations of family service in off-world colonies. We go as potential allies, but prepared for war, Elena addressed the bridge crew. The Solarians called for help, and humanity has answered. Whatever these Karaks are, they're about to learn that threatening peaceful species stops the moment humans enter the equation. She nodded to Rodriguez. Execute jump. The familiar disorientation of faster-than-light travel gripped Elena as the jump drives engage. Space folded around the fleet, compressing 30 light years into a single moment of transition. A flash of impossible colors flooded the bridge, and then they were there, in Solarian space. The scene that greeted them was one of devastation. A once beautiful ringed planet hung before them, its surface scarred with impact craters and energy weapon burns. Around it, the wreckage of delicate ships drifted like cosmic debris. "My God," whispered Singh. "Life signs," Elena demanded, pushing aside her shock. "Detecting multiple signatures concentrated on that large moon," reported Science Officer Dr. Eliza Freeman. "And, Commander, we have incoming vessels. 8 large ships on an intercept course. Identification: not Solarian based on the signal patterns. These must be Karaks." Elena's decision was immediate. Battle stations, defensive formation beta, target weapon systems, and propulsion only. We need intelligence before we commit to full engagement. As klaxons sounded throughout the Valiant, Elena opened a channel. "Attention approaching vessels. This is Commander Elena Reeves of the United Solar Defense Force. We are responding to a distress call from the Solarian Collective. State your intentions immediately." The response came quickly. A visual transmission showing a massive reptilian being with armored scales and multiple eyes arrayed across a broad skull. Its voice translated as a guttural growl. "Insignificant newcomers. You enter territory claimed by the Karaks' dominion. The weak Solarians are our rightful conquest. Depart or be destroyed alongside them." Elena cut the transmission and turned to her weapons officer. "Lieutenant Park, target their lead vessel's propulsion systems. Short burst, 20% power. Let's show them what insignificant looks like." Park executed the command with precision. A concentrated beam of energy lashed out from the Valiant, striking the Karak ship with surgical accuracy. The enemy vessel shuddered, its engines sputtering and dying as it began to drift. "One shot disabled their primary drive," reported Park with satisfaction. "Their shielding was ineffective against our targeting frequencies." "Open the channel again," Elena ordered. The Karak's commander reappeared, its alien features contorted in what Elena assumed was rage or shock. "This is your only warning," she stated calmly. "The Solarians are now under Earth's protection. Withdraw your forces immediately, or we will demonstrate what happens when you threaten those we've chosen to defend." Before the Karaks could respond, another signal cut through the communications. This one was weaker, originating from the moon's surface. "Human vessels," came a melodic voice as the screen displayed a willowy figure with luminescent skin and 4 graceful arms. "I am Ambassador Lyra of the Solarian Collective. You truly came. We had almost lost hope." Elena nodded respectfully. "We received your distress call, Ambassador. We're here to help. Can you hold your position while we deal with these Karak ships?" The Solarian's large, expressive eyes blinked in what seemed like astonishment. You speak of confronting the Karax fleet as though it were a simple matter. Their warships have destroyed our worlds for months. With respect, Ambassador, Alina replied with the hint of a smile. You haven't seen humans fight yet. As the communication ended, Alina turned back to her tactical display. The Karax ships were regrouping, clearly reassessing the threat posed by the human fleet. They're forming an attack formation, Rodriguez observed. Good, Alina said. Let's show them why creatures from Earth are called Deathworlders. All ships, execute combat pattern Hydra. The human vessels moved with coordinated precision, breaking formation in ways the Karax targeting systems couldn't anticipate. The Valiant surged forward, its advanced shielding absorbing the first volley of Karax weapons fire with minimal damage. Return fire, Alina commanded. Disable their weapons first, then propulsion. No unnecessary destruction. I want prisoners and intel. The battle that followed was brief but intense. The human ships moved with a speed and adaptability the Karax hadn't encountered before. Within 20 minutes, 3 enemy vessels were dead in space, 2 more were retreating with significant damage, and the remaining 3 had begun a full withdrawal. They're running, Park announced, unable to keep the pride from his voice. Let them go, Alina ordered. They'll carry the message back to their commanders. She turned to communications. Contact Ambassador Lyra. Tell her the immediate threat has been neutralized and request landing coordinates for a diplomatic team. As the Valiant moved into orbit around the Solarian moon, Alina gazed at the tactical display showing the retreating Karax ships. This was only the beginning, she knew. The real battle, and humanity's first true interstellar alliance, lay ahead. The Deathworlders strike back. The central chamber of the Solarian sanctuary was unlike anything Alina had ever seen. Crystal spires rose toward a transparent dome that revealed the star-filled sky above. The gravity was barely 0.4 Earth standard, making the humans' movements seem unnaturally powerful despite their efforts to move gently. Ambassador Lyra glided toward them, her 4 arms extended in what appeared to be a traditional greeting. Surrounding her were a dozen other Solarians, their translucent skin pulsing with subtle bioluminescence that shifted colors with their emotions. Commander Reeves, Lyra's melodic voice echoed in the chamber. The collective owes you a debt we cannot express adequately. You have given us something we had lost. Hope. Alina nodded respectfully, careful to control her movements in the low gravity. Beside her, Dr. Freeman operated a portable translator, though the Solarians seemed to have quickly adapted to human speech patterns. The threat isn't over, Ambassador. The Karax will return, likely with greater numbers. Yes, Lyra agreed, her skin darkening to a deep blue that Alina's xenobiology briefing had identified as indicating concern. Their dominion spans 12 star systems. They seek resources and territory, viewing all who cannot physically resist as legitimate targets for conquest. Major Jackson, the Marine commander who had accompanied Alina to the surface, studied the fragile aliens with professional interest. Your technology is clearly advanced, but your species wasn't evolved for combat. We come from a world of gentle seas and minimal gravity, Lyra explained. Our gifts lie in thought, creation, and harmony with our environment. Until meeting the Karax, we believed all advanced civilizations would similarly outgrow violence. Alina exchanged glances with her team. The notion seemed almost touchingly naive from humanity's perspective, shaped as they were by millions of years of evolution on a planet that had tried to kill them in countless ways. The universe is unfortunately filled with predators, Alina said carefully. Earth, our homeworld, forged us through survival challenges, high gravity, extreme weather, dangerous wildlife, disease. We evolved as persistence hunters who never give up. Lyra's skin shifted to a curious amber. This explains much about your ship designs and combat tactics. You move and think like no species we've encountered. Dr. Freeman stepped forward. Ambassador, we need to understand your technology and the Karak's vulnerabilities if we're going to mount an effective defense. Of course, Lyra gestured to a Solarian with deeper blue coloration. Chief Engineer Talon will share our technical knowledge. But I must ask, why would your species risk themselves for strangers? Elena considered the question. Humanity has a complex history filled with both conflict and cooperation. We've learned that extending protection to others ultimately makes us all safer. Besides, she added with a slight smile, we've never been good at walking away from a fight, especially when someone is being bullied. Over the next 12 hours, humans and Solarians worked together, combining Earth's military expertise with Solarian technology. The aliens' energy systems and sensor arrays were far beyond Earth engineering, but they had never developed the kinetic weapons, nuclear armaments, or combat tactics that humans had refined through centuries of conflict. Their primary fleet will arrive within 48 hours, Talon explained, manipulating a three-dimensional star map with graceful movements. 17 warships, including their command vessel. Major Jackson whistled. That's more than double what we handled earlier. Elena studied the tactical display, her mind working through scenarios. We can't match them ship for ship, but we don't need to. Rodriguez, what's the status on integrating the Solarian sensor technology with our targeting systems? Complete, Commander, the first officer reported. Our accuracy has improved by 340%. We can hit specific systems from 3 times the previous range. And the shield modifications. The Solarian phase-shifting technology makes our defenses nearly impervious to their plasma weapons. They literally can't hit what they can't phase match. Elena nodded, a plan forming. Then we don't need to match their numbers. We need to hit them where it hurts and show them that continuing this conquest will cost too much. You mean target their command ship, Jackson realized. Precisely. Cut off the head and the body falls. Ambassador, Elena turned to Lyra. We'll need volunteers familiar with Karak's ship layouts to join our strike team. Lyra's skin pulsed with determination. I will accompany you myself. 40 hours later, the Valiant hung in space at the edge of the Solarian system, hidden behind a gas giant's magnetic field. The 5 other human ships had spread throughout the system, using Solarian cloaking technology to remain undetected. On the bridge, Elena watched as the Karak's fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel. 17 ships, as predicted, Singh reported. Their command vessel is in the center of the formation. Elena studied the massive Karak's flagship, nearly 3 times the size of the Valiant, bristling with weapons emplacements. According to Solarian intelligence, Supreme Commander Krull himself was aboard, directing what he expected to be the final elimination of the Solarian species. All ships maintain stealth positions, Elena ordered. Engage only when the command vessel is within strike range. The Karak's fleet moved with arrogant confidence, spreading out to establish a perimeter around the Solarian moon. They clearly expected no significant resistance after their initial encounter with human forces. They think we retreated, Rodriguez observed. Good, Elena replied. Overconfidence is a weakness we can exploit. Weapons status. Modified torpedoes armed and ready, Park confirmed. Solarian phase-shifting technology integrated into the warheads. Elena took a deep breath. Commence Operation Thunderclap. The Valiant's engines flared to life as the ship burst from hiding, accelerating at speeds that would have crushed any non-human crew without their specialized inertial dampening systems. Simultaneously, the other 5 human vessels emerged from their hiding places, each targeting specifically assigned Karak ships. Enemy vessels are responding, Singh reported. Their targeting systems are attempting to lock on. Evasive pattern Delta, Elena commanded. Deploy countermeasures. The Valiant rolled and twisted through space in ways the Karak's combat computers couldn't predict, while specialized drones launched from its hull created false sensor readings. On the tactical display, Elena watched as confusion spread through the enemy fleet. We're within range of the command ship, Park announced. Fire all modified torpedoes, Alina ordered. Target their main reactor and bridge. The weapons launched, their trajectories seemingly erratic until the last moment when they phase-shifted through the Karax shields as if they weren't there. The explosions that followed were precisely calculated, disabling the command vessel's weapons, communications, and propulsion without destroying it entirely. Direct hits, Park confirmed. The command ship is crippled. All ships, execute targeting plan Bravo, Alina commanded. Disable, don't destroy. The battle that followed demonstrated why humans from Earth were considered Deathworlders by galactic standards. The Solarian-enhanced human vessels struck with surgical precision, neutralizing the Karax advantage in numbers through superior tactics, unpredictable maneuvers, and weapons the enemy had no defense against. Within 30 minutes, the engagement was over. 7 Karax ships drifted powerless. 5 more had surrendered, and the remaining vessels had fled the system. Boarding teams ready, Commander. Major Jackson reported from the hangar deck. Ambassador Lyra's technical specialists are with us. Proceed, Alina authorized. I want Supreme Commander Kroll brought to the Valiant. It's time he understood the consequences of threatening those under human protection. 3 hours later, Alina stood in the Valiant's conference room as the massive Karax Supreme Commander was escorted in. Despite being restrained, Kroll's physical presence was intimidating. Standing nearly 9 feet tall with armored scales and powerful limbs. Behind him, Ambassador Lyra seemed even more delicate by comparison. Supreme Commander Kroll, Alina began, your fleet has been defeated, your command ship captured, and your forces scattered. The Solarian Collective is now under the protection of Earth and the United Solar Defense Force. The translator conveyed Kroll's rumbling response. You are a species unknown to us. Your tactics are unexpected, but the Dominion has many more ships. This defeat is temporary. Alina smiled thinly. I was hoping you'd say that. She activated a holographic display showing technical schematics of various Karax weapon systems and defensive capabilities. In the past 3 hours, we've downloaded the complete technical database from your command ship. We now know the locations of every Karax world, outpost, and fleet. Kroll's multiple eyes widened. Let me be perfectly clear, Alina continued. Humanity doesn't seek war with the Karax, but we will not tolerate the hunting of less physically powerful species. Every world you've conquered through force has just become a protected interest of Earth. You have 2 options. Begin immediate withdrawal and reparation processes, or face a species that evolved on a world that would crush your people under its gravity alone. You would go to war for aliens you've just met. Kroll's translator conveyed his disbelief. We would go to war to establish a principle, Alina corrected, that in this sector of the galaxy, predation on sentient species ends now. Earth is forming an interstellar defense alliance, open to all civilizations seeking peaceful coexistence. She leaned forward, her voice steady. The Karax are welcome to join, as equals, not conquerors. But should you choose to continue your current path, you will face humans on every front. And unlike the Solarians, we evolved as apex predators who thrive on the very challenges that would break your people. Ambassador Lyra stepped forward, her luminescence shifting to a determined gold. The collective offers knowledge and resources to any who join this alliance. Together with human protection, we believe a new era of cooperation is possible. For several moments, Kroll was silent, his alien face unreadable. Finally, he spoke. I will convey your terms to the Dominion Council. Until their decision, I will order all Karax forces to withdraw from Solarian space. When Kroll had been escorted out, Alina turned to Lyra. He'll recommend acceptance of our terms. The demonstration we provided today made clear the alternative. You've changed the course of galactic history, Lyra said, her inner light pulsing with emotion. Many species have suffered under Karax expansion, with humanity as guardians. Not guardians, Alina corrected gently. Partners. Earth has much to learn from the Solarians and other advanced civilizations. Your technology, combined with our adaptive resilience, creates something greater than either alone. 3 weeks later, Elena stood on the observation deck of the Valiant, watching as ships from 7 different species arrived for the first official gathering of the Interstellar Defense Alliance. The fleet that had started with 6 human vessels now included Solarian ships, representatives from 3 other previously threatened civilizations, and even 2 Carax vessels, whose captains had chosen to support the new Galactic Order. The Council has approved the establishment of a permanent IDA headquarters in the Solaris system, Rodriguez reported, joining Elena at the viewport. They're calling it the Crossroads. Elena nodded, watching the diverse ships maneuvering around each other in the shared space. Appropriate name. The coordinates will be transmitted to any species broadcasting distress signals. Earth will maintain a permanent defensive fleet here. The Deathworlders becoming the galaxy's protectors, Rodriguez mused. Not the role we expected when we first detected that signal. Perhaps it's exactly the role we've been preparing for throughout our evolution, Elena replied. All those challenges that forged us on Earth, they weren't just about survival. They were preparing us to be the kind of species that could stand up for others. As the ships of the newborn alliance positioned themselves for the formal ceremony, Elena reflected on humanity's swift transition from a single-system civilization to a galactic defender. The universe, it seemed, needed what Earth's challenging evolution had created, a species that understood both struggle and cooperation, strength and compassion. The Deathworlders had arrived on the galactic stage, and the rules of engagement had changed forever.